Hello, welcome to Scotty's Playtime. I'm Scotty. I'm a very frustrated, angry, depressed Scotty. So let me quickly explain what just happened. I spent 3 hours this morning writing a very long, detailed post on my weekend and the last 3 days. And WordPress, in their infinite wisdom, has changed things, and I meant to put a copy and paste of some specs from my computers into the post and accidentally put a link to a YouTube video. And it wiped out the entire post. Just deleted it. No save draft, no nothing, and I couldn't get it back. No way to undo what I had just done. If WordPress wasn't the only game in town, basically, I wouldn't deal with them. But so let me explain. This weekend, Ron and Randy and I had long talks. Ron and Randy had noticed that my being on the MS site for 10 to 12 hours a day and dealing with other people's abuse and trying to help, replying with my own thoughts, my own abuse, and sadly, some other things that were happening there had greatly triggered my own memories and feelings. First, let me explain how I got. The night terrors and nightmares were back. I was only sleeping fitfully, and part of that was the steroids, but I was sleeping in 20-minute batches. I was highly agitated when I was sleeping, like I used to be. My feet would kick, my hands would, and arms would go up in defensive postures. I was again crying out, help, or please don't hurt me. And I was reliving my childhood every time I closed my eyes, and it was causing me not want to sleep. I would wake up from those sleeps just totally drenched in sweat. So, the decision was made by me. Nobody forced me. But Ron was extremely concerned, and so was Randy, and they noticed a lack of ability in me, and what they didn't know was one thing the site has is private communications between individuals or groups, and I was involved in some of these, and it's a fact, unfortunately, that childhood abuse imprints certain things on your mind. Your little child body doesn't know the difference between a lawful touch and an unlawful one. And if somebody's making body parts feel really good by touching you and doing things to you, then your body gets hardwired to that stimulus. And can get hardwired to repeat the abusive things. For example, totally straight guys will want to have sexual relations, but not sexual relationships with men to reenact their abuse and that. If they were trained to give blowjobs to an older adult, they'll seek out an adult to give that to and then hate themselves for doing it. You know? So, to make a long story short, this guy reached out to me, and sometimes on the sites there's predators that show up to these sites. They're not always good people. And they want to relive. Now, let me just go back for a few steps here and tell you that a lot of abuse victims will tell you that reading stories of what other people went through in their childhood oftentimes will make them aroused. If they were having illicit relationships with their siblings, especially if they were non-punitive, yes, it screwed them up mentally in that, but it also taught them that it was great pleasure. And so if they read that somebody else was having nightly visits from an older brother, they might get aroused reading that. So anyway, there's also predators who use these sites to get aroused, to stimulate their own fantasies. Well, the site has safeguards to try to prevent people from being preyed on. And they have software that scans the posts and the private communication for signs, key phrases, words, things that might seem to be leading somebody into an abusive situation. But then people review it. But the software doesn't catch as long as somebody is claiming to be just talking about their own childhood abuse or whatever, even if they're slightly abdicating for it. And one such predator reached out to me. And under the guise of helping him deal with his own trauma, he wanted to dig into mine, and dig he did, and he dug, and he dug, and he opened wounds and then went deep into them. He wanted every last detail, and when I didn't want to go further, he would try to ask a bunch of questions, just for healing purposes. But the last one, the one that tipped me over the edge, was he wrote something like, "When you were being raped, did they whisper sweet nothings in your ear, lick your ear, or nibble on it gently?" And I freaked. With my kind of abuse, that was the last thing somebody wanted to do. I mean, even the school principal in grade school was wonderful. He was nice, he was kind. But he would take me to a storage room or somewhere else and tell me to either kneel down and do X, or to turn around, pull my pants down, stick my butt out. There wasn't love involved. There wasn't, at least he was not painful to me. He wasn't hurting me, so it doesn't stick in my head as a trauma. But does that mean a 8, 9-year-old, 10-year-old boy wants to be taken out of class to a storage room and being told to bend over, put his butt out, take his pants down, bend over and stick his butt back? Or told to get on his knees? Do you know what it's like to have to go back to class with a sore butt, hoping you're not leaking some man's cum? And try to sit there? I couldn't. And learn? I couldn't do it. I spent much of my school days laying on a cot behind. But that's not what this story is about. Anyway, he minded. He dug into it. And because he had supposedly a lifelong consensual relationship with his brother that continues today. Well, okay, great. His brother was wrong when he started it because he's 11 years older than him, and the boy was 6, supposedly. And he was looking for other males who'd had sex with their siblings so he could relive the glory days. But that's not how most of us feel, and he wrecked me. Before I finally put my foot down, told him, I'm not having a part of this anymore. I see what you're doing. I realized what it was, and I hadn't told Ron about him. I don't think I told Randy about him. I told Ron just recently. And Ron was like, Jesus Christ, if he'd have known. If he'd have known I was dealing with this, then he would have put a stop to it a long time ago. Anyway, so the decision I made Sunday night was not to go back to the site for a while. Complete break. Just like Bo did on his channel, I made a break from the MS blog. And now I have to try to heal myself again. I have to get back to that calm place that I was in. So I went to do a video Monday morning. Couldn't do it. This program, which is what I was using, it only allows me now, I was on a free trial, didn't realize it, only allows me to do low resolution videos, no features. And I have an old copy of this that I paid for, and it allows you to do HD videos. So after I get done explaining what I'm going to do to the computers, I'll tell you I'm going to try to reload that program. In the meantime, I went ahead and there was an editing software I really liked called PowerDirector, and by Cyberlink. And I'm not paid by them, and some of the actions by the company I don't like. I had a suite from them that I bought, and I really enjoyed the PowerDirector part. And then I had a series of computer incidences and crashes and everything, and was reloading my computers often, and they claimed that I was abusing the copyright and all this and the license agreement, and that I couldn't I couldn't download and activate the program anymore because they thought I was selling it. Sorry, I was having computer issues. So what I did was I bought a new copy, not the subscription, because they've all gone to subscriptions now. You can't just own software. And I bought the permanent license one. And I bought 2 new hard drives for the computer. 2 years ago, I bought 500 gigabyte hard drives for both computers, solid state hard drives, because all I had was 1 terabyte old-fashioned platter discs hard drives. So SATAs 3, I think, or something like that. So anyway, IDE is what we used to call them, but I don't know what the current nomenclature is now. Anyway, and I noticed an improvement in speed in that, but they were too small to install all my stuff on. So I kept the 1 terabyte hard drives from the old system, from the systems, and put them in as secondary, and was going to use them for data now. But I got looking at it, and it's just not helpful for speeds of the computer, and I'm not using them. So what I did was I bought 2 1 terabyte SSDs. I'm going to take both computers, open them up. I'm going to swap the hard drives. I'm going to put the new terabytes in as primary. I'm going to take the 500s and make them secondaries. And I'm going to take the old-fashioned platter discs out. And I was going to upgrade the RAM, okay? But when I got looking at the specs, the newer computer by 1 year, the Inspiron, is the one I use for blogging and that, because it seems a fraction faster. But it can't be upgraded any higher. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM, and that's all, according to the specs, the system will take. The other one can go up to, it's an XPS, and it can go up to 64. So I may switch them and put more RAM in the XPS and just use it for blogging and use the other one for the video computer. Having said all that, then I'm going to download the new program I just bought, Power Director, and I'm going to try to install my old UCam one, Cyberlink UCam, which is this program, and see if I can get back to making decent videos that you all would like to watch. Anyway, I wrote all this and more in that post, and then lost the whole thing because of WordPress just having to monkey around with a system that worked really good and make it worse. So anyway, thank you for listening to all this. If you have any comments, questions, just let me know. I would be more than happy to answer them. I'm going back to my blog now and start answering questions. Oh, one part I forgot to mention. Over the last 3 days, reason I haven't been on the blog is Ron and I have been spending a lot of time together. I mean, I get him up at 7, we go for an hour and a more walk, we talk, we cook together, we clean together, and we're doing housework together. We're just spending as much time right now, the last 3 days together, because Ron wants to make sure that I'm okay. And I think I've reassured him I'm okay. So he's decided it's okay for him to go out and get groceries and leave me home. And I've got the new Xbox controller that I managed to finally get to work. And we'll just have to move forward. So see you on the flip side. Alright, this is Scotty's Playtime. I'm Scotty. As always, best wishes for everybody and warm, comforting hugs for those that would like them.